As the world battles with the Wuhan-originated COVID-19, we saw a sudden rise of positive cases in the Tibetan settlement Mungod, situated in South India. Mungod now consists the highest number of Tibetans affected with coronavirus. Joining me today, I have Dr. Kyazang Chudun, who is actively working along with other frontline workers in treating the COVID patients at Duguling Tibetan Rehabilitation Hospital in Mungod. Tashdile Dr. La, it's so good to have you here. Welcome to our show.
Tashdile.
Dr. La, with this sudden rise of COVID cases among the Tibetans in Mungod, what is the situation there now? How are you all tackling the crisis?
To begin with, basically Mungod is a Tibetan settlement in South India, which has a population of around 15,000, including our laymen, our monks and our nuns. So ever since the Wuhan coronavirus cases started coming up in early March, there have been a number of sequences of lockdown and travel restriction implemented in our own community. People who are traveling from out of country, other countries and other states, other cities, they have been restricted and put under quarantine from the very beginning. Because of all these strict actions, we have been able to avoid number of cases till maybe around like a month back. Gradually, when this unlock season it started, like unlock 1, 2, 3, the number of cases nearing our own settlement, like in nearest villages or near town, everywhere there have been increase in number of cases in Indian cities and all. So because of that, I feel the number of cases also started increasing in our own community as well. And as of now, we have around 368 cases. Among them, we have around 117 active cases and 246 recovered cases. Among 368, there are 5 deaths. And out of all these cases, almost 80 to 90% are from monasteries, are monks, and the rest are usually laymen. People who died are usually more than 70 years and old, and people who have a lot of comorbidities. These are the people who have literally succumbed. We have increased the number of testing in our settlement. We've been having a good connection with Indian Taluk Hospital and District Hospital, where they have been providing us good help, almost like they're providing whatever possible help for us to get tested. So we have initiated a lot of testing. Until now, I think almost 3,500 people have been tested in our own settlement. COVID is actually a pandemic, and there's been a lot of stress on COVID and COVID management. But at the same time, non-COVID patients are being neglected in a way, because when we are targeting so much focus and resources on our own COVID patient, the non-COVID patient, which are more in number and which have more chronic illness and all, they are getting affected somewhere. So here we divided our work with the help of Gajang Hospital, Gajang and Lusiling, Gandin Changse and Lusiling Hospital. What we have done is DTR Hospital, we are catering only to COVID, and we are handling all the COVID cases. Any person who are either COVID suspect or COVID confirmed, we are taking all of them and we are triaging them. We are managing whoever we could manage here, and people who are very sick and who couldn't be managed here, we are referring them to bigger cities. And Gajang and Lusiling Hospital, we have one doctor in Gandin Changse Hospital and few staff in Lusiling Hospital. There they are tackling the non-COVID patient, people who are on regular medications, people who get injured and who have so many other non-COVID issues. So they are tackling on them.
360 is a big number, and with limited facilities and resources in the hospital, how are the treatment going on there?
Regarding the treatment part, out of 368 people, in initial phases, there has been this trend that we have been referring our cases, whoever comes positive, to Taluk Hospital and District Hospital. Almost 330 patients we have been treating at our own center. We have established a COVID care center next to our hospital. It's almost like a 30-bedded hospital. So we're keeping both COVID confirmed and COVID suspect. We have a different ward for each of them. We have our nurses on duty day and night throughout the period, and people who are asymptomatic and very mild, only like a mild fever and mild discomfort, a body ache or something, those people are kept in a different accommodation we have managed, because we can't keep all of them in our own hospital. We don't have enough bed. And all those people who are very much symptomatic and who have distress and who have complication, we have been taking all of them to our hospital. And if very severe, we refer them to higher center in Hubli. And on line of treatment, usually for mild cases, we only give supportive treatment like antipyretics for fever and good enough hydration for in case of dehydration and all. But here in our hospital, we have been even able to procure remdesivir, which is like till now one of the best established antiviral effective against COVID-19. And we have even started in many of patients who, there were some few patients who were in so much distress, who had so much of respiratory issues. They had to be maintained on almost 10 to 15 liters of oxygen initially. They couldn't breathe without oxygen. And after course of remdesivir and steroids and we like whatever treatment we have provided here, they have been off oxygen, and few of them have been discharged as well. So I feel like I'm very much thankful for my team here at DTR Hospital, starting from our hospital secretary to my hospital nurses, to my hospital driver, ambulance driver, from the pharmacist, for cashier, to builder, to lab technician, to our peon, and everyone who has been putting their best effort from the day one.
Dr. La, it's really nice to know that all the staffs at the hospital are giving their best into treating COVID cases. And we also know that you are playing an instrumental role regarding the handling of the ongoing COVID cases in Mundgod. Dr. La, where do you live and what are you specialized in?
I'm basically, I've been born and brought up in Mundgod only. I'm basically from Camp 1 in Mundgod settlement. I've done my schooling till 12th in Central CST Mundgod. It used to be CST Mundgod, now is STS Mundgod. And after that, with His Holiness Grace, I got MBBS reserve seat. And so I did my MBBS in Sardar Patel Medical College, Rajasthan. And after that, I did prepare for my post-graduation, and I got a diploma in child health. And basically, I'm a pediatrician, so I've got 2-year training in pediatrics. And after that, I came back in Mundgod to serve my own community under a bond period for 3 years. But now it's been over 3 years, but I'm still because of this COVID pandemic, I'm still working here and giving my best. And I live here in a hospital quarter only. I don't stay in my home.
Dr. La, since you are living there in the hospital itself, you must have witnessed all the COVID cases of the Tibetans in Mundgod. Dr. La, what is the rate of recovery?
As far as the number of cases I've seen here, almost 90%. I can say 90% among them, they recovered very well. They don't have any issue at all. Maybe out of 10 or 5 to 6% people, they tend to have a little bit symptoms, and they might deteriorate, they might need come up on oxygen, and who might get improved after medication and all. And death, till now, the risk of death has been like 1 to 2%. I mean, like maybe if you have 100 patients, 1 or 2 people might be at risk of dying, and that too the people who are very old and who had a lot of comorbidities, those people are at highest risk.
Dr. La, since the outbreak of COVID-19, Central Tibetan Administration has taken all the possible measures to prevent the spread of the virus in the Tibetan communities. Dr. La, what do you think could be the reason of the sudden outbreak of COVID that is affecting the Mundgod Tibetan settlement?
Like, I think first of all, it depends on the place where you are. I mean, like, you can't compare to a place like Mundgod or a place where it has been surrounded by a lot of Indian communities and cities where there are a lot of cases coming up, compared to a hilly area where there's a very limited kind of number of people, and the people have very limited restricted movements. So I think that you have to see the situation where it's more likely to be spread in such kind of area. And basically around our settlement, there are a lot of cases in India itself which are coming up. So first of all, I think it's because of that and because of unlock and all these things. And secondly, yeah, there might have been some breach, because you can't go and pick that where it kind of, suppose you have a big vessel where there's huge full of water, you can't pick where's the big tiniest of hole. You can't go and find that. It's kind of difficult, but we can't pinpoint that that's the fault which led to all of these things. But yeah, I can say that it's maybe it's little as the number of cases are increasing in monasteries, so because of maybe like in monastery there are so many people living under one roof as compared to people or who live under one family back in camps where they have maximum 5 to 10 people they live together, compared to a monastery where they have around 200 to 300 people living under one roof, being served food from one kitchen, people who work constantly on a regular basis as a duty, interacting, so they have a very high chances of getting infected and spreading the infection. So in monastery, I feel this is the main reason, because of the old people stay very closely together. And beside that, maybe a very good contact tracing might have been needed, because we here in in our settlement and all, we are very much short of people, manpower, resources and all. So it kind of becomes very much difficult to trace each and every person. And some of our people who do contact tracing, they face difficulty when people don't respond when they try to call them. They don't even respond. So there have been a number of issues, I think.
Dr. La, according to your experience, what are the things that other Tibetan settlements can learn from the present situation in Mungod in terms of prevention of COVID outbreak and facing the challenges?
I think first and foremost, a good contact tracing. You must definitely contact trace all the people who are concerned with the one who came out positive. Second thing is, please you need a special protection or special restriction in your monasteries, because these are the places where there's the highest risk of getting transmitted. So our monasteries and places where there are lots of the people who are staying together, these places needs to be protected at most. And thirdly, I think you should get people tested, because I don't know how frequently they are testing in other settlements, but as I said, in Mungod we have tested almost 3,500 people till now. So if you increase number of tests, I am sure you're going to get a more number of cases. But I'm not just saying you test any random person, any young school going. Okay, test all the symptomatic, test all, screen those people who are above 65 and who have comorbidities, because these people are at the highest risk. And if possible, you should make all the arrangement in your own hospital, so that you need not you need not have to wait till it comes and then only you'll get it ready, or make all the arrangements, right? Like arranging oxygen, arranging all the medicines and all the supply, and all the, if possible, arrange remdesivir as well. And go for early testing. And because if you test early, if you detect them early, you can observe them, you can monitor them, and you can intervene in case any kind of complication develops. And by the time, if they don't come in early phases, or you don't test it, if they come late, then it will be too late. You won't be able to save them. So this is what I have to say.
Thank you so much, Dr. La, for the informative message and giving us more details and information on the ongoing COVID cases regarding the Tibetans in Mungod. We are all praying for this phase to end soon, and thank you, Dr. La, for your continuous effort into handling the COVID crisis, and thank you for speaking to Tibet TV.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next episode of In Conversation with Tibet TV.